Hi, I'm Alyssa Dineen of Style My Profile, and this is my podcast, The Dating Lab. I want the Dating Lab to be a place that you can come to get tactical and practical advice on all things modern dating. I'm going to have some awesome guests to teach us even more, and I want to share client success stories to encourage you, as well as share other client stories that can help validate you and your experience, and hopefully help you on your dating journey. So enjoy and like and comment below. Hey, welcome back to the Dating Lab. Super excited about my guest today. She's actually an old friend of mine. Not old, a long-term friend, I should say. We've known each other for 25 years, I think, is what we decided.
Yeah.
And her name is Carmindy Beauty. And I'm sure a lot of you know her, but she's a makeup artist, beauty expert, and the founder of Carmindy Beauty Cosmetics. Hi.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. I love that you called me my name Carmindy Beauty. It's Carmindy Boyer, but
Oh,
Carmindy Beauty is my cosmetics line. But I'll take
oops.
it. I'll take that as a first and
Carmen
last
DB,
name. I
which,
like that.
yeah, Carmen DB could be either one. Okay.
I like it. I
That's
like it.
really funny. That can be your new last name.
I like it.
Anyway, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on here. And
Oh my gosh.
I'm so excited because Carmendy and I actually saw each other yesterday, full
Yeah.
disclosure. And we talked about what we're going to talk about today, and I'm really excited. So, Carmendy has so much to share, and I feel like she is a dating expert in of herself, and can give us a lot of tips and advice, even as a non-dating coach. But she has come to me for advice here and there.
Have I ever?
So yeah, so first of all, so Carmendy has been divorced, but I feel like that's not even like I feel like that's such a back part of your story now. It's so funny. It's like that was ages ago. She was in another serious relationship for many, many years. What was that, 7 years?
6.5.
Yeah. And now she's been on the single scene off and on. She's taken breaks, but this summer she had a lot to report on because she had a summer of love, as she's been calling it. And she's going to tell us a little bit about that and share with us some of her most recent dalliances, I guess. But we also had, like, we have some really great topics we want to cover today. So I'll let you say a few words and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, yeah. So, as a professional makeup artist and beauty expert for over 30 years, my whole job and identity is about empowering women and helping women and making women feel the best that they possibly can. And it's funny because a lot of times, we kind of stop doing that for ourselves in a way, right? And so I was so fixated and focused. I've been technically single now for like 8, 9 years. I was so focused on that part of my life that I shut out all dating pretty much altogether. I'd have a fling here and there. I had somebody who was half my age that was a very like
Mm.
casual situationship, but it was never going to be more than anything than that. And then really didn't date at all. Every once in a blue moon, I'd go on a couple dates here and there, but it was not on my radar. Didn't
Yeah.
care about it. And then, of course, when menopause hit, I was not interested whatsoever. I mean, I had no sex drive, no libido. It was just poof in the wind, gone. So it didn't
Yeah.
really matter anyway. And I want to represent those of us out there who did not want to settle down and have kids and be married. I did it once in my early 30s. It wasn't for me, but that doesn't mean that I was ever going to close my heart down to love in general and in a different way. So this summer, I think, did I come to you for advice? I think I called you every day with a reason. I mean, I had been kind of out of the game and closed off for so long that when I got to Europe and my heart opened, it started raining men. It was really fantastic. And it was one date after another. And I was on the phone with you constantly and texting you constantly, like, what does this mean? What do I do here? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm so excited. And it was like, I felt like a teenager again at 54 years old.
Yeah, it was pretty,
So
she really was meeting someone new every week, I would say.
yeah.
Yeah, it
And
was pretty cool.
it was great to have somebody like you to call and be like, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? What do you think of this one? It was so incredibly helpful. But if you want to know how this happened, I didn't expect it. I didn't think about it. I went to Europe with an open mind. I was on one dating app and then I was just social. I went out to a lot of cafes. I was walking around outside a lot. I was going
Mhm.
to a lot of breathwork meditation classes, yoga classes, the gym, dinner parties. I just put myself out there. So I met people both organically on the streets, at dinner parties, and then also on the app that I was on.
Yeah, and
And
I love that. I just want to point that out that that does still happen, right?
yeah,
I mean, I think if you're open to it, and
yeah,
that's why I think it happened. She was basically away, not on vacation, but she was living abroad this summer.
yeah,
So I think
yeah.
when you're out of your usual element and you're in a new area or new city, new country, you're definitely more open. But I think that's something to keep in mind just for everyone in their everyday life. You were really open to meeting new
I
people, and it was clear. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what's really important too, and this is incredibly important, I was extremely upfront and honest and clear, just like we all need to be, about what it is and who it is that we are, what it is we want and who it is we are. I said on each date, I don't date. I haven't dated in a long time, which I hadn't. It had been probably a year since the last time I had gone on a date with, a guy for a couple of weeks. And that was like a year before. So I was very open, don't date. And I was also open that like I'm a nomad. I'm not looking for marriage. I'm open to love and I'm open to exploring what a relationship can be if you fit in my kind of brand of weirdness of this lifestyle. But I was very upfront. I'm not going to settle down and raise your children. I'm not going to get married. I'm a little bit of a nomad and I'm open to love, but not in a traditional form, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That cuts out a lot of people
Yeah.
because people that want to meet, fall in love, get married, have kids, or maybe blend families or live together or be in the same zip code, all year long, that you have to be very, very clear on what it is that you want because it weeds out the people that are looking for something different.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. I love that. Yeah, and it's true. I mean, being really upfront. In fact, this just came up on one of my Instagram reels. Somebody commented, on my first date, I tell men that I don't want to have children. And she was
Yeah,
like, and that weeds people out right away. I mean,
right
and it's
away.
good to be really clear about that. And
Ex-
actually, I was telling you this. I think that Yoav was super clear about that when we first met. He
yeah,
was like, I do not want any more children. And he
that's
said it weeded people out very quickly because a lot of women he was dating did still want either they wanted more children with someone new or
it's
whatever it
true.
was. But
It's
yeah.
true. I mean, I always say I was a stepmom for that 6.5 years of a long-term relationship.
Hmm.
I am
Hmm.
completely open to being a stepmom, but not full time. Because I'm going to be traveling. So
Right.
like, I don't
Right.
mind if somebody has younger children, but I'm not going to fill the role of being full-time stepmom. That's not going to happen. So
Right.
just being clear. And it's so funny because as women, we're trained that everything we say might scare them off. So we
Yes.
wind up being silent. As you get older, that filter goes out the window. You have to be as
Yep.
clear because if you're scaring somebody off by being honest, that's insane.
And they're
Then you
not
don't
your
want
person. They're not
anything
your
to do.
person.
You don't want to have
Yeah.
anything to do with
And
that.
yeah, and you'd rather know now than 3 months from now when you're fully in love with the person.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
I 100%, yeah, I agree with that 100%. That's why, I think that that's becoming more, no, or just more of a talked about thing in the dating space.
Mhm.
Just how, do say what you want right away, and you might scare off a lot of people, and that's a good thing
It's
because,
a good
yeah, yeah. So, no, that's so good. Okay, so you were meeting lots of guys week after
Mhm.
week on the app and
Yeah.
off the app, more in person than on the app, right? Or was it about
Correct. Yeah.
equal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met, let's see. Well, I met two people on the app and the rest were off the app just organically. But I think like, the first one was off an app, right? So it was like this real kind of opening. And again, when you're not in your environment, you kind of your walls drop a little bit. And
Yeah.
that first date, he wasn't my person at all. Like I didn't want to go on a second date with him. But we had a really great dinner and he became like a friend. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, well, cool. I got a friend out of the deal, right? So, but
Right.
then that opened me up to then have this energy around me that was just kind of more welcoming, right? And not
Right.
closed off. So then it became the weeding out, dating, started dating a few. And then there was one in particular that I really was like, okay, I really like this person. I really want to see where this goes and explore this. And for me, it was time to then tell the other person I was dating, I need to press pause on this with you because I am dating somebody else. It is looking like it could be something that I want to explore in a more serious way, and it wouldn't be fair for me to continue dating you and leading you on. He was very, very appreciative and sent me a
Mhm.
wonderful message. And this is what we were going to go into next, which is do not ever ghost.
Yeah.
Ghosting is for cowards. And when you don't ghost, when you tell them where you are exactly, it is so much more efficient for your life and their life. Wouldn't you rather have a guy that you thought you had a great date with or a couple great dates with text you and say, listen, I was dating a couple other people. There's one that I'm a little bit more aligned with. I'm going to explore that more. So I'm going to stop, dating other people. Wouldn't that feel good? You wouldn't take
Absolutely,
it personally. Maybe you'd
absolutely.
be bummed a little bit because you really like the guy,
Y-
but at least you had
Yeah, but
clarity.
this happened to me when I was first dating, is for the very first time, instead of someone just kind of letting it fizzle out and not saying anything.
Mm,
It was somebody I went on a date with, and the next day I thought it went really well, actually. I mean, I wasn't
mhm,
like, oh my God, I'm crazy about this guy, but it was like, oh, I would definitely go out with him again. But he texted me
mhm,
the next day and he said, I had a great time with you,
mhm.
loved talking to you about photography, blah blah blah. He was a photographer, and he was like, but I just didn't really feel a romantic connection, but
Great.
wish you all the best. I'm like super happy to see you in the neighborhood, because we actually lived in the same neighborhood. And I was more happy that he just told me than
Yeah.
bummed out that it didn't work. You know what I mean? Like
Because
it,
it has
yeah.
nothing at all to do with you. It is not, it's got nothing to do with your value. It's got nothing to do with your worth. I mean, I have literally cut more men off than you can imagine, but yet you do it because here's the other thing too. Women bitch and complain about ghosting and then they go ghost somebody else.
Yeah.
If they don't like them, then they ghost. And it's like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
this, we have to eliminate this from our current dating societal way of communicating. Ghosting is not communication. It's not fair. It's not right. If you had any amount of intimacy with somebody, out of just sheer respect and being elegant, just say. And if you don't know, say you don't know. I'm dating. I'm kind of up in the air. I'm all over the place. Just so you know, I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
Something is
Yeah.
better than. And
Exactly.
I wound up dating a guy like just a month ago, and or a month or two. It was the end of August, and we went about 3 dates. This was in Africa. We went about 3 dates, and I knew I didn't want to see him again. He wasn't my person. He was very lovely, but he had two young children, and he was definitely not aligned like in the way that I live life. And I said,
Mhm.
listen, it was really, really nice meeting you and getting to know you, but we are not aligned. And I wish you all the best. And he wrote back, wow, thank you so much. And you could
Yeah.
see he was kind of like flabbergasted that I was
Yeah.
so direct and honest. But hopefully, when those men get those responses, they will then
Yeah.
reciprocate it to the next woman they go out with that they don't have a connection
Right.
with.
That's what
Because
you
it's
said
the
to me yesterday, and which I loved, is the more women, if you don't want to be ghosts, the more we don't ghost as well. It's
Mhm.
showing them by example. This is
That's
how what you do to make the other person feel seen and good about themselves, and then it really true that they're worth the 2 sentences it takes to text somebody, you know?
so,
Yeah.
so, so easy. And yes, there are guys out there that are uncomfortable with being honest and direct because they don't want to hurt feelings because maybe they had some past trauma of hurting girls' feelings. Well, that's not your person. That's not a good communicator then. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
No, and I think we
and
all,
we,
that's why a lot of people ghost, is because they don't want to they don't want to hurt someone's feelings, and therefore they just don't want to deal with it. They're like, maybe it will just go away. But
avoidant behavior, which shows a lack of maturity, I believe it's much better to be firm and direct.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Carmody and I are going to lead the movement in stopping ghosting once and for all.
Like we're gonna have t-shirts, ghosting is for cowards. But I mean, to think about it, it is so
Yeah.
efficient, you guys. It's just so efficient. It's efficient for us, for them, for everybody to just. And listen, yes, there are people out there that are like, because I've been this person where I'm like, I like this person, I like this person. I'm not quite sure. I don't want to completely communicate a lot with both because I don't know and I don't want to lead anyone on. So you're kind of like, you come and go. That's okay. If somebody said, hey, and there was a guy out here about, I don't know, 2 years ago, and he was like, I keep asking you out and you're never available. Should I waste my time? And I was like, actually, we're not going to be aligned, and yeah, move on. And it was like, it's not happening. So at least
Yeah.
he asked me because he wasn't sure.
Right, right. And did he respond to that, or
Yeah.
was he
Thank you.
grateful
Thank
that
you
you,
so much.
yeah. Yeah. I
Believe
mean,
it or not, easy and efficient communication is always good.
yeah, agreed. And one thing I just want to point out that of course there are going to be the one in 100 people that are going to be like hurt and lash out or something and say something, whatever. And just remember that that's coming from a place of ego and that has
Always.
nothing to do with you. And then you just block them, if they
Yeah, yeah. If they get aggressive in any sort of way, then that's when the blocking comes up. But the other
yeah.
thing I don't believe in is if you were with somebody and it didn't work out, just blocking them. I mean, it seems so aggressive. It's like unless there's a bad energy connection, it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
I
obviously, if they offend you, I think, or say something inappropriate or mean,
then block.
yes, of
Yes.
course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason to do that either. Yeah. So, and then the other thing we talked about yesterday was, well, you were talking about how you really fell for somebody, and then you were feeling vulnerable and feeling like
Yeah.
you wanted
For the
to.
first time in years.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to talk a bit about that? Is
Sure.
that okay? Okay.
Sure, absolutely. So, yeah, this person that I fell for at 54, it was the first time that I actually looked at like, and again, you don't know somebody in a very short amount of time. It takes a long, long time to really get to know somebody. So, say what I saw for the short amount of time matched with my projection of what I hoped it was. Like, if it was on the surface, what it really was underneath, the projection of that was interesting. And I wanted to explore it more. And so all of a sudden, I felt very vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
because I have not felt that way. I didn't feel that way with my ex-husband. I sure didn't feel that way with a lot of people, even though I might have been in love. It wasn't this connection where you're like, oh my God, why does this feel like soul connection? Like, it was really interesting how incredibly connected I felt to this person. And it was very uncomfortable and scary and made me feel vulnerable. And instantly that vulnerability took me back to feeling like a teenager. And my rational mind was like, okay, yes, these are endorphins. This is serotonin. This is all the happy chemicals that get jacked up when you're with somebody and you're feeling that. And once that goes away, what actually becomes, long term is what real love is, right? This kind of feeling is the more the romantic chemical stuff that we all know isn't what you want to look for in a long-term person. But wow, did it feel good to feel that again and feel like a teenager again?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
the problem is that we get addicted to that feeling. It's
Yes.
just like drinking a great bottle of rosé with your friends or eating a lot of chocolate, right? I got so kind of stuck in that feeling of euphoria, right? That romantic euphoria, which rationally I knew is not anything but what it is,
Mhm,
chemically,
mhm.
scientifically. But we are fed this fantasy since we're little kids. It's kind of
I
indoctrinated
know.
into
I
us.
know.
And not just our generation, all the generations going back as far
A
as,
hundred
I can't
percent.
remember.
I mean, Disney's
So
been around for a long time.
he's been around for a very long time. Exactly. So, having to be rational, and I still think about him, and
Yeah.
eventually it'll go away and I'll be able to move on. But honor those feelings. Don't beat yourself up. Realize that you're human, but also realize that it is a projection
Yeah,
because it's
100%. I'm glad you actually said
true
that. Yeah.
long. You see
Yeah.
people's action over a long-term period of time. That is when you go, that's my person. You can't
Right.
do it in a short spurt.
Well, and that's the thing, I talk a lot about, chemistry versus no chemistry and how chemistry can develop. You had crazy chemistry with this guy from the day you first saw him, and it just got even more intense the more you
Yeah.
saw him, and which is amazing. And I love that, like you said, it is a little bit like a great bottle of wine or a ton of chocolate or
Yeah.
or a drug, and it is an amazing feeling, and we all want that feeling so much.
Mm.
But that is never going to last forever anyway. Even if,
No.
no matter what, that doesn't last forever.
Well, and the funny thing we were talking about yesterday, Alyssa, is pink flags. I saw pink flags around him. I did not see red flags, but what I wanted was enough time to get to know if the pink flags were going to turn red or if they were going to go away. And I didn't
Yeah.
get the opportunity to see if those pink flags were there, like
Well,
what they were.
basically, he kind of, I mean, him sort of disappearing, what, was
Yeah, the
big,
red
the
flag.
true sign that it was, yeah, your pink flags were probably more red than you realized.
Yeah.
And actually, that leads me to my other thing I want to talk to you about, because you and I have talked about this several times as friends, just, I guess as your dating coach too.
Yes.
I was telling Carmindy that she does have a habit or a history of going for very, very hot guys. And it's so funny because she'll even say to me, okay, I met somebody and he's not my usual type and I'm going to send you a picture. Like he's really sweet and he's so kind and da 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 da, but he's not like, he's not like the hottest guy. And she'll send me the picture and I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like he's just as hot as the other guys.
But
So,
here's the thing. I mean, I would say average or unattractive looking guys don't ask me out.
well, okay, fair enough. And no, and I'm not saying that you're not worthy of a hot guy, but I feel like this is what I try to tell everybody is it doesn't matter. That the hot guys, the hotter they are, the more women are after them. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, and they have their pick. And I feel like, and I talked about this on an interview with Jillian Turecki. Do you know who that is? She's
Yeah,
a
of
relationship
course. I'm
expert.
reading her book right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I gave you her book. So we did an interview together, and she and I were talking about how much more of a pass everybody does you give to people that are hot. You definitely let them get away with more than somebody who you didn't think was as hot.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I feel like hotness can, that sense of hotness can really develop. It's like,
Yeah.
definitely with Yoav and I mean, I definitely found him attractive, but the chemistry wasn't
Yoav
there.
hot. I'm sorry, but Yoav is
He is
totally
hot. No, 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 I'm not saying he isn't. It's just that I wasn't really like the chemistry wasn't there for me. I think he's hot. Of course, now I think he's so hot, and basically, it just took many dates for me to really see his personality come out, which
Right.
made him to me so much hotter. And I think that's true for so many people. And I get a lot of pushback on social media about my whole thing about date vanilla. And what I mean about date vanilla is not date a boring person. It means
No.
date someone, like go on a date with somebody whose profile is just kind of okay. There's
Well,
nothing
listen,
flashy.
I have gone out with hobgoblins that had a great personality and a raging sense of humor. There has been times. I usually probably don't share those photos, but that was like
Okay.
a long time ago. And I remember, and I know this is a theory, it's going to like actually, I find that some of those guys actually are more players because they have to continue to prove themselves. So I had found like a couple of guys that
Interesting.
you're like, what, that guy? Like the short, ugly one with the great personality and the sense of humor was more of a ladies' man for some reason than somebody else because he was trying to like prove it all the time. He felt insecure. So I guess it always depends. I
Yeah.
think at the end
Yeah.
of the day, energy, personality, and spark. So I agree with you. Date
Yes.
vanilla, go out and see if the energy and the spark is there for sure.
Yeah, and if it develops,
Yeah.
and it could. And I compare it to, I mean, think back to way before dating apps and everything, when we were in high school, college, work situations where you'd meet a guy, you meet someone new,
Yeah.
but you were just friends with them because say you're in college together and you hang out in the same friend group and you just get to know each other basically over years, maybe. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, there's a spark there because you guys have
Yeah.
gotten to know each other.
Yeah.
I kind of compare it to that. It's like it's definitely probably someone you found that was cute, but there wasn't anything there until it developed and until
All
you
of a
got to know
sudden
each other.
there was like this moment where you look at each other in a different way and you're like,
Yeah.
huh, okay.
And I think that's
Unfortunately,
what
I'm
people,
traveling so much all the time that I'm never around anybody long enough to
well, no,
be
no. So that's my comparison is that like, with dating apps, we don't have that anymore. So you're meeting these brand new people and you're not having that opportunity to get to know them. So my whole thing is go on several dates with them. If the chemistry isn't there, it might develop, it might not, but
Mhm.
give it a chance to kind of brew, because I feel like we just less and less there's an opportunity for that, especially with now remote working. I feel like people don't even have the work environment anymore,
Well, and
you know.
it's true. And for somebody like me with my very unusual lifestyle, being a nomad, it really narrows down the dating field even more so for anything that
Mhm.
were to be potentially serious, because they'd have to be as free and independent as me. There is a few people out there, this guy in particular, that they have that ability, right? There was this other person I was talking to that what was he traveled for a living, and that's what he did, right? So it's like you got to find also what your future looks like too. If your future is staying in one place and creating a real nest, then you got to find somebody who wants that too. But I can't, expect to go to some country and meet somebody who really wants to settle down, because then I'd be giving up all my dreams.
Yeah. Oh,
So you got to
absolutely.
find
No.
people that kind of match up with your dreams. And here's the
Yeah.
greatest thing: if it doesn't work, I'm totally in love with myself. I'm totally okay being alone. That's the
Yes.
thing. This would be an extra added bonus, but it will not define me. I've defined myself and I'm very happy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I realized this summer, why I call it the summer of love, is that instead, what I had done is closed it off and just didn't even look in that direction. Now I was able to look at it and be like, wow, if the universe wants to gift that to me, I'm open to it. But I also know that I'm totally fine without it. So
Yeah.
it never becomes the end of the world.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. But I mean, I feel like there's so many people that live the digital nomad lifestyle now that,
mhm.
it's not like I feel like you will find that person who has
Yeah,
that lifestyle like you do. And maybe you're
yeah.
not always together. Maybe you're
I
traveling
would
to
not like
different.
to be together with somebody all the time. That's my funny thing.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
my independence. My mom and dad, even though they had more of a traditional marriage, were happily married for 50 years. I had the greatest parents, right? Great childhood. They were happily married for 50 years because they were independent. So my
Right.
dad would have his fishing trips and his hunting trips, and my mom would have her quilting thing, and da da da. And they had their life together, but they were not joined at the hip. They did their own things, their own, and it was just this kind of sense of come and go and then together as a family. And it was a
Yeah.
really beautiful way to grow up. And my mom always said, never expect a man to be everything to you. That is what your girlfriends are for.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
That's
never
such good
forget that.
advice. Yeah, my mom did. I mean, a lot of moms didn't say that back then. I feel like now that's more common, but that's great that she said that to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, and I
Um,
remember telling my dad at an early age, I was like 10 years old, and I was like, Dad, I never want to have kids, get married. And he goes, don't go, have fun, travel the world. Like I was luckily supported by a family
yeah,
that was like, go do you, be you. And I think that helped with my confidence of being alone. Um,
definitely.
because I
That's
grew up
so
like,
rare, I feel like, when we were growing up. Really
yeah,
rare. We were
yeah,
so fed that whole, get married, have children, blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
And that's what I love about you too, is that you knew from a very young age that you didn't want children.
really
Like
young.
it's interesting. Like I
It,
love that you were so sure of that.
it was
Yeah.
messages. It was divine messages. I remember them crystal clear, almost like somebody talking to me. Many
Wow.
things about what I was doing for a living, about kids, like I crystal clear messages.
Yeah.
Really strange, very
Yeah.
intuitive. Of course, things got a little blurry later on in life when you're not in that childlike state where things are so clear from, the
I
universe.
know, I know, I know. So that leads us to how you started Carmindy Beauty. And yeah, tell us about that.
So another message that came very clear to me when I was very young was that I was going to travel the world and that I was going to be independent, self-sufficient and independent. So I knew it, like by the time I was 15, exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a professional makeup artist, travel the world, but I also always remembered to be self-sufficient. And so I knew that no matter if I wound up being with somebody or not, I had to take care of me. And so when I was a makeup artist, it was amazing. And then when I got on What Not to Wear with Stacey London and that show that lasted 10 years, I said,
Yeah.
here's my opportunity to take care of me. I can brand myself. So I started writing books. I had my first beauty brand with Sally Hansen that was in drugstores nationwide and in Canada. And I used to always say, this show is going to have a shelf life. But I'm in the household of all Americans right now. So how can I create and build something that is going to sustain me for the rest of my life?
Hmm.
And that's how Carmindy Beauty was born. And there's been many renditions of it. many failures. And now I am just about ready to relaunch Carmindy Beauty again, focus solely on over 40 because I'm now 54 and I've watched my skin change. I know
Mhm.
formulas that work on every age, and nobody's focusing on the over 40 woman with a price point that's affordable. You can find brands over
Yes.
40, but they're like, all these very expensive Sephora brands where you're spending over $30 a product
Right, right.
are the most expensive thing is $16 with the quality of an $80 product.
And I use all of Carmody's products
Yeah.
also. I have to say they're truly so great, and I mean, so affordable, but also they really work. And I love that you make it easy. I mean, you know how I am. I'm really bad at putting on makeup. But you made it so easy for people like me to apply makeup. Like I'm not as afraid as I used to be.
And you shouldn't be. And I think what's happened in our current society, especially in the beauty space with TikToks and Instagrams and Facebooks, these tutorials are outrageous.
Yeah.
Nobody's got the time for all those steps. Nobody's looking like those girls. And over the age of 40, it's like, okay, I don't want to paint stripes all over my face, wear fake lashes, and look like a Kardashian. I want to look like the best version of me in like 5 easy minutes. And that's what I create is a streamlined, fundamental, basic makeup wardrobe system that gets you fresh and out of the house fast, easy. You don't have to be a master blender, universal shades. You're not choosing from 25 different lipsticks. It's
No.
like, who
And
needs that?
I never know what to choose if
Yeah.
there's too many choices. Yeah.
And
No,
being a
it's super
professional, I
simple.
know that colors that do work universally on people. And
Yeah.
that's what I created with Carmody Beauty is a very streamlined, simplistic, in and out, and perfect for date night.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
other thing too is you do not want to show up with a full plastered face of makeup and contour and lashes because that's not who you are. Let them see who you are. And I don't know if I told you, but there's an app that actually takes makeup off girls that some of the younger guys they're downloading an app, and it takes a girl's Instagram picture and it takes away all her makeup so they can kind of see what she might look like for
Oh my
real.
God, that's really funny, actually. Yeah. Well, and I mean that makes sense because there's so many filters and yeah, and all the contouring and I mean the makeup routines that these girls do. I mean, when you have a real life, you don't have time to do all that every day. But back to your makeup, I just wanted to point out one more time that truly Carmendy's makeup is so easy to use, and I just can't recommend it enough. And actually, she also uses it on we do all our photo shoots together for
Mhm.
Profile in a Day, and she
Yeah.
uses all of her makeup on all of the clients, and these are real women who everybody says too, like, oh my God, I want to buy the whole collection, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, because they didn't think that they could look so beautiful using almost nothing. Like I'm doing
yeah,
very light makeup. They are that beautiful. I'm just showing by highlighting. And then they're like, oh, they see themselves differently. So it's just about rewiring their brain chemistry with very minimal makeup. It's not a full face transformation like
yeah,
you would see like on some of these TikTok videos. This is very simplistic. It's
right.
just about they might not notice how beautiful their eyes are or their skin is. Like your client yesterday walked in with stunning skin, beautiful eyes.
Yeah.
Wowza. And she had no idea
Yeah,
because
and
nobody's,
Carmody played up her assets so well. Like her eyes looked incredible, and she really did have this like porcelain skin.
yeah.
And yeah, it just came out so beautiful,
And
actually.
all she had in her head was, I have rosacea and I have bad skin. I was like, no, no. Because that's
Yeah,
what happens, right? It's like you get body dysmorphia, face dysmorphia from something that happened when you were a child. Well, time has changed and things have moved on, and we need to get rid of those broken record narratives that are in our head that are not serving us anymore at all.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, my last question for you before we wrap up is what is something that, I mean, I feel like you have a million of these, but what is something that you would tell your younger self with what you know now?
Oh my God. First of all, I would tell my younger self, and this goes back to what I was saying about body dysmorphia and facial dysmorphia. I would tell my younger self that you look fantastic. You're not fat. I always, because I was an overweight kid that was bullied and teased and made fun of. And so for all of my late teens, 20s, and 30s, I just worried so much about my weight, and I wasn't thin enough, and da 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 da. And it was here I was projecting positive beauty standards about face to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, from the waist down, I was concerned about every
Right.
ounce that I had. And now I look back and I'm like, yeah, and when you get in your 50s and you stop caring because things are sagging in places you had no idea and you just got to roll with it, you want to go
Yeah.
back to that 25-year-old self and slap your like face and be like,
Oh
knock it
my
off. Be
God.
running
I
around naked with your hair
know.
on fire, celebrating this.
I know, right? I know it's so funny. I know I think back to my insecurities when I was 25 and I'm like, what was I thinking?
So dumb.
Uh,
Yeah.
such a waste of energy.
Such a
I
waste.
try to tell my girls that too. I'm like, trust me, I wish I didn't worry about all those things when I was, and but it's so hard. They hear me, but they don't really. They're like, yeah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Yeah.
it's hard to take it in. They don't know how they're going to feel when they're 50.
That's, that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. This has
You're
been a
welcome.
great dating convo and hopefully really helpful for all of our other people out there
Yeah.
listening. Yeah, Carmindy she is the epitome of positivity and truly and just
Thank you.
keeping an open mind. I think you
keep an
really
open keep an
yeah.
open heart, and we I think we all need to change and evolve. It's really important. So we see, and you're really good with patterns. You picked out my patterns, and I had to really look at that and be like, you're right, because we all want to say, oh, no, 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 but yeah, we do have them, so we need to work on integrating change.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, thanks, lady. I'll see
Yeah.
you soon. Yeah.
Yeah, big
Okay.
kiss to you. I love you, honey.
Big kiss. Thanks for joining me on the Dating Lab. I hope you found what you heard helpful, and if you did, please like and comment below, and even better, subscribe, and hope to see you here next time.